In this age, people see boredom as an enemy that they need to run away from and avoid at all costs because they want to avoid the discomfort that comes with it and the minimum of stimulation provided by it, which makes a lot of people choose to use social media as a distraction from the thoughts and problems they have in their lives because they think if they ignore it and forget about it, it will go away. But the truth is, scrolling for hours, it will only provide temporary relief from not sitting down to face these problems or thoughts because they will keep chasing you until you'll decide to put your phone away and sit down and think about these thoughts or these problems and see where are they coming from, what is your perspective about them, and what can you do. And I know this seems boring and daunting and a lot of brain work to do, but you have to do it because your brain receives a ton of information every single day from social media and it needs time to process these thoughts and reflect on them to develop an opinion about them and also identify the knowledge gap it has about certain topics after identifying the confusions and questions it has about it, and also reject the unnecessary information instead of just being passive to it and stocking all of it in your brain until you're gonna start having a headache. And this is something that a lot of us experience when we keep scrolling for so long. We start having these headaches where we feel like our brain is going to explode at any moment, and this makes us just want to open our head to let all that tension and pressure we feel in our head to go away so we can feel relaxed. And it is literally one of the worst experiences to have in your body. But sadly, a lot of people find a comfort in that state of being numb after too much scrolling because it is better than sitting down in silence and facing their demons and be present in the moment instead of being more present in other people's lives online than their own, to the point they know too much about other people's lives than theirs. And this is not normal because this is affecting them in real life, especially when it comes to building real relationships. People prefer to be scrolling on a social setting, trying to know what others are doing, than actually trying to build connections in real life. And this is something that I noticed in my university, where it is so hard to talk to someone because everyone in the class is scrolling because they're like, it is better to scroll than sitting down looking like an idiot who is looking around waiting for the teacher. And also there is nothing to do and I don't want anyone to talk to me because I have an anxiety around talking to others, so it is better to put my headphones on and scroll. And even if you want to ask someone about something related to class, there is this trend of only removing one AirPod and keeping the music on and trying to have a conversation with you. Like, are you kidding me? Can't you just stop the music and listen and be present in the moment instead of trying to be stimulated all the time? Literally, this desire of people wanting to be stimulated all the time by music or social media is ruining people's abilities to connect with the real world and communicate and face their discomfort of talking to others or trying to not look cringe and stupid while sitting down in a restaurant or a park or a class with no phone, because they fail to realize that they have to face all of this discomfort because sitting down in class with your phone and headphone all the time and operating in autopilot mode will make people not wanting to talk to you, and you can miss out on having some real connections in real life. And I know some of you have an anxiety around talking to people, that's why you're constantly on your phone in school, but I am here to tell you this won't solve your problem and you have to take action even if it is uncomfortable. And since we're talking about being present in the moment, boredom helps you to be present in the moment without distraction, because you are using your five senses to interact with the world around you, which makes you notice stuff that you don't usually pay attention to. For example, when I take the tramway to go to university, during my ride I am observing people around me and trying to figure out what are they doing, what are their facial expressions. Also, listening to the conversations that some of these strangers are having, or even looking at the sky when I am sitting down. And the reason I do this is because I want to be present in the moment without listening to music or scrolling, and notice things that I would not have noticed if I was scrolling at my phone, and let my brain find ways to entertain me by trying to play these mental games of imagining what do these people do in their lives, what kind of personalities they have based on how they stand and dress, what kind of lifestyle they live, etc., etc. And it is so important to give our brain space to be creative, to find ways to entertain us when we are bored, by observing the environment we are in and look for things that exist in that environment that we can use to entertain ourselves. Like when we were kids, we were so curious about the world around us, and we always tried to entertain ourselves by using things that we have, like taking a piece of paper and a pencil and draw, or trying to make shapes with the paper we have, or trying to find connections between different objects. And I literally remember when I was a kid, I used to make clothes from paper because I didn't have enough clothes to dress my doll, and I wanted to create clothes for her to make her look beautiful. And it is sad, when we grew up, we forgot that we have the ability to entertain ourselves, and we became so much dependent on our phones to give us stimulation and get us out of our boredom, and we underestimate our brain power, so we never try. And I know this sounds so boring, and that's the beauty behind it. At the beginning it is going to be difficult, daunting, and frustrating, because you're not getting the same amount of dopamine you get from your phone, but with time you get used to it and you start finding joy in it, because you start filling your time with hobbies you want to do or you've never done before, like reading, drawing, pottery, learning a language, etc., etc. And trying to be creative because you are more present in the moment, and you're observing the world around you, and you're trying to make sense of it by asking questions, even if they sound stupid, because asking questions and being curious can give birth to new ideas or even solutions to some problems that you've noticed in your environment, and you can start a business around that. Like literally just the other day, I listened to this podcast of a successful entrepreneur who started a business around helping local small food stores to solve some problems they face to run their business by building an app that will help them with that. And the main reason he was able to build this business is because he was observant, and he noticed a problem that he saw every time he went there. Also, there is something else you can do with your boredom, which is laying down and doing nothing for 15 or 20 minutes, because in this age we're so used to working all the time and doing something, because we want to achieve that comfort in the future where we can lay down and do nothing. But when we have these moments where we can lay down and do nothing, we feel weird and uncomfortable about it, and this uncomfortable feeling starts haunting us by telling us we need to do something now, and we have to be productive and not waste time relaxing. And even the silence of the room is scary and uncomfortable because we're not used to it, because there is always sounds and noise around us that shift our mind focus from our thoughts, especially the ones we don't want to have and confront. And when that noise is not there anymore, these thoughts come up and we see them as a monster to avoid. And I really do think that it is so important to have this 5 minutes or 10 minutes every single day where we'll lay down and just stare at the ceiling and do nothing, because this helps our brain to realize that we don't have to be working every second of the day, and it is okay to do nothing and just exist for a couple of minutes and process what happened that day and the information we received. And also I want to talk about something that I realized, which is that our desire to not be bored comes from our impatience. We just want things to be fast paced all the time, and if something is going slow or in natural pace, we get angry, impatient, and bored and annoyed because we want everything to happen fast. We want to get rich fast, achieve our goals fast, learn things fast, be an expert in a field fast. We want everything to happen fast, and this put a lot of pressure in ourselves to the point people feel like they are a failure if something is going in a slow pace and doesn't come fast to them, and even they get bored with the process and stop. So learning to be bored helps you to realize that not everything has to be fast paced, and sometimes the process to get something is not rainbows and sunshine, and there is moments of frustration or things going slow or even getting bored, but that doesn't mean you're gonna stop because you didn't glow up financially, physically, or mentally in a month or two, like you see on social media. And this is so exhausting to our brain. That's why some people get burned out a lot and feel exhausted to do the smallest task, because the brain is tired from being bombarded with unnecessary information all the time. And before finishing this video, I want to give you things that you can do when you are bored. 1. Try to take random objects in the room and brainstorm connections you can make, even if it's strange. 2. Try to journal and reflect in your life and also in the content you've consumed lately, and write down what are your thoughts about them. 3. Start learning a new skill that you think it is important to learn, or a skill you are interested in. 4. Try to face all the uncomfortable situations that you always try to avoid by using your phone. 5. Try to take a walk or go to the gym without listening to music once a week. 6. Try to observe people when you are in a restaurant or a park or the bus, etc., etc., and pay attention to the natural sounds around you. 6. Start a new hobby. 7. Lay down for 5 minutes or 10 minutes every single day and do nothing. 8. Do 24 hours phone detox and plan activities that you can do that day, and make sure to include a lot of activities, because when you don't have your phone, time becomes so much slower than usual. I hope you guys enjoyed this podcast episode and that it inspired you to give yourself time to be bored and to not run away from it and embrace it and learn from it.